Hi, well, I'm going to talk to you about the project I'm working on. So around the holiday season, my wife and I make anywhere from 20 to 30 batches of cashew brittle, which is really good. So here's my problem. I'm going to point it. So we have a pot like this, and they have a temperature probe. I use a temperature probe like this connected to a meter. So the probe goes into this, and then it attaches to the side of the pan like so. Now, if you're not going to stir anything, or the liquid is like the consistency of water, it's fine. But when you're throwing cashews into peanut brittle, or cashew brittle, and you start stirring it, it's pretty thick. So end up doing this, and this hits like this, and you can, I don't know if I can, but the probe ends up, I'm trying to get a good angle here, but the probe ends up moving to the side. So you can see this, try to get it here, maybe this, I guess this is a good angle. So when you hit it, it ends up doing this, and it comes out of the liquid, which defeats the purpose of having a thermometer. And when you're doing candy, temperature is very important. You've got about a 5-degree window at the most between having it break your teeth and being biteable. So the first thing I thought of, I'm going to see if I can point this down a little more. The first thing I thought of was to make a metal piece that would have two prongs on the inside, one on the outside to hold it steady, and then have a piece of metal going across here with the probe sticking in. And that was what I was going to go with, and I started looking around at things and couldn't really decide what I want to do. But then I came up with the idea of maybe I could make it out of hardwood, which is what this is made out of. So it'd be less expensive, easier to machine. I don't have a CNC, so cutting is hard, not that easy in metal. So take this out. So what I came up with was a block of wood. Now, if you follow Sandy Monroe and Monroe Live, he believes in utter simplicity in all his designs, and I like the way he thinks. So I ended up cutting a block. Now what I did is I took a roto zip and cut a slit in here, and I have a video of that. And then cut 3. I go, well, instead of having, I originally thought of having a bar going back and forth that the thermometer would be mounted in. And then I came up, well, I don't need that many positions, so I drilled 3 holes at different positions, and so I can put the probe will fit into these holes. Now, since this is hardwood, the thermometer, the hole is very tight, but over years I'm thinking that might loosen up. So my other idea was to put a collar on it. So I have a little collar here. It looks like it's just a little cylinder with a set screw in it. So it goes around here, and then you can tighten the set screw. So this you can set at any position you want. So when it goes in, I can put the set screw here to limit it how far down it goes. So even if this was loose, it would still work. The other thing I thought about doing, I don't know if I'm going to do it yet, is to drill these a little bigger and put in brass sleeves. But I don't see any reason to do that yet. But it's in the future if I want to do it. So here's how it fits right now with this groove in. So I measured a radius on the pot, but because this is the only pot I'm going to use, so I measured the radius and cut this. It's not perfect, but it's pretty tight, so it doesn't move this way. However, it can kind of wiggle a little bit, so I decided what I first thought of doing, and what's in my drawing, is using something called a T-nut. So this is something that it goes into wood. It's made for different furniture or something like that, and it's got little teeth here. So when you put it into the wood like this, it goes in something like this, except it go in the middle. So it goes in, and then what you can do is you can take a screw and screw it in. And so what I was going to do was drill a hole here through all the way through to where this groove is, and then when it's sitting on the pot, I'd put a little piece of dowel that's in the hole, so when you put this in and the screw tightens in, it's going to push the dowel up against the pot. So I don't want this going against the pot because it will scratch it. So that's what I was going to do. However, I had a brainstorm going over this all the time, and I remembered they make these things called, they're wood inserts. So it's a little device made out of brass, I think, and so it's got very coarse threads on the outside and finer threads. This happens to be, I believe, I can't remember what size this was, but you can see how it's a good size screw. You can see how big it is in my finger. So this gets screwed into the wood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole in the back of this, right in the middle. Well, actually not in the middle, in the lower part, and then put this in here and screw it in. So this is hardwood. So if I drill a hole of the right size, then you just thread. This gets threaded in. And actually it goes like this. So there's the way you thread it in, is there's little cuts here, and you can put a screwdriver in to drive it into the wood. So this is going to go into the wood, and then I don't want to screw because I want to be able, I don't want to get a screwdriver to adjust this, so I thought I'd use a little thumb screw. So once it's in the wood, then this thumb screw can go right in like this. And once it goes all the way through into the hole, there will be a little dowel, short dowel here, and when I tighten it, the dowel will put pressure onto the pot here. So this is going to go in here like this. So that's where I am right now. Truthfully, if I had a CNC machine or access to one, I'd probably make this out of some kind of very hard plastic that'll handle temperature. That was one of my constraints, was it has to be able to hold up at least to 350 degrees. So, because I think this can get that hot. Now it's not going to get direct flame because it's rather high. I cook with gas, so you can actually have gas going up around if you don't have it adjusted right. So, but this is far enough away, I think it'll be fine. So that's where I am right now, and like I said, I'm pretty happy because the way this works is once it probes in, I can still stir it. And with this, the other thought I had was going completely across the pot, but then the problem I have is then you'd be hitting this, and it'd be very hard to get it stirring all the way around. So that's where I am right now, and I'll keep you updated on what's going on. This is Doug out.